Hey y'all, I'm back with part 3 of my story time. So sit back, relax, and hang out with me for the next 15-20 minutes. Let's see part 3. Okay, part 3 of my story time. Y'all know that I'm always led by God with whatever I'm doing. So part 3 of my story time is not going to be talking about the overall relationship. It's going to be mostly based on me and my transformation that God was with making me go through, and just the steps that I was taking. And some of it was confusion, right? So and that's what he wants me to talk about. I think he wants me to talk about this because when we are in a situation with a friend or relationship, family members, we always tend to take them to God, right? They need to change this. And so I think that's why God wants me to talk about that. Y'all excuse. But so I would be taking this. I'm going to be honest, y'all. It wasn't taking the problems to God. It was just taking him to God. Like, he doing X, Y, Z. And so God basically told me, like, way in the beginning, way in the beginning, like, so a few years, he had been telling me, tell me about you. What about you? You're bringing him to me, bring yourself to me. So God basically just started calling me out on the things that I needed to clean up within me, because I'm only seeing the other person. No, tell me about you. What do you look like? What do you need to work on, right? So through this process and this journey the last few years, like, God has really been checking me about a lot of stuff within myself, and not just with one person, like common denominator stuff. Like, look at yourself. What do you hear about you by more than one person, right? And it was a lot, like, I talk too much. I interrupt people when they're talking, when I just feel like I just gotta get it out. I also would get upset if people didn't see my side the way that I saw it. I would get upset. Also, I would yell, I would curse, I would have an attitude, I would be really moody. Like, God was just calling me out on a lot of things that I needed to change with Camila, right? And then he started taking me to scripture, like with me just talking. Yeah, you can. He even told me, yes, you can definitely be right about a lot of stuff, but that don't mean that your mouth always has to be open. That don't mean that you always need to talk. So he would take me through these periods where I would be fasting. And anybody who has a relationship with God, you know, when you're fasting, it can be from anything. And my very first, like, for real, I want you to fast was the Esther fast. And I remember at that time we were together, and we had took the kids to I don't know what the place, but we had took them to this, like, a place, like, we did laser tag and all of this stuff, but that's not what this is about. But we had took the kids out, and I had started my fast just with I think it was eating at a certain time. That's how God, he was gradually giving me things how to fast. It wasn't like cold turkey, just don't eat nothing. So it was kind of like, you can't eat after 6 o'clock. And I remember we had stopped at to get something to eat, and it was like we had went to this place, so it was way after 6 o'clock. I think it was probably like 9. And it was Popeyes. Went to Popeyes. I love Popeyes. Anybody who knows me in real life, like, knows, like, yeah, give me some Popeyes wings and some red beans and rice. I'm good, right? So I love Popeyes, and we pull up at Popeyes, and everybody in the car kind of knows that I'm fasting. So they're getting their food. He asked me if I want something. I say no. And that was my first time. I said no because I'm fasting. And that was my first time really being disciplined when it came to, like, I ain't ate. I am hungry, you know, but I was honoring what God was telling me to do. So I did not eat. And that was the first fast that I did. And every time I would fast, he would just open up so many doors of clarity for me. Even this time, it was so like everything was so clear, and I wasn't really that. My relationship with him then was nothing. It wasn't even halfway where it is now, but I still got the clarity. And then the second fast, it was a little bit more intense because I had already been doing the intermittent fasting where I'm just fasting, like not eating between these hours and things like that. So the very next fast was when what was it? I think when I had just started praying and God had like told me like, he was my person, and I'm just praying and doing all of this stuff. And then I just felt led to read the book of Esther. And then I felt led to fast at the same time. And this was the first time I was led to like read a book of the Bible. And then it was just like, I knew God was saying, like, I felt like God was saying that I needed to fast or whatnot. And I'm reading the book of Esther, and I feel like God is telling me to do a 3-day fast. And my best friend is a Catholic. She's Catholic. I think I said that a few times on my channel. She's a Catholic, and I was just telling her I felt led to fast and this, that, and the other. And I remember she was already fasting at this time because it was something that all Catholics were fasting for. I can't remember. And I was like, and he has me in the book of Esther. And then I felt like he was telling me to look up the Esther fast. And she was like, Camila, the Esther fast is she didn't eat or drink for 3 days. And so I'm like, so I can't eat or drink for 3 days, I think. And I'm like, I don't think I can do that. And I'm just telling her, I'm like, I'm like, do you know me the way I think you're supposed to know me? Because you know your girl got to eat. God, like, what are you saying? 3-day fast with no drink? I'm like, girl, I'm going to be done passed out. I'm like, that's not humanly. I'm like, 3 days with no food or anything to try. I was like, not even water. And she's like, no. And then at this time, I was really loving, that's when I had first started loving applesauce. So I'm like, I can't even have applesauce. And she's like, no, the Esther fast. She was like, keep reading. Like, she didn't have anything to eat or drink. So y'all, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to see how much I can do. And at that time, it's just me and Leisha. So God literally had me order my steps completely all the way through. I'll never forget, like, I got Leisha stuff where I wouldn't have to be in the kitchen because you're not as disciplined. Like now, if God tells me to fast, I would be able to cook and not eat. But back then, and God knew it. Like if I have her cook for this little girl, she gonna be out of there. So it was just like everything was set up for the 3 days with Leisha to eat and all that. Told her that I was going to be fasting. And when I fast. Like I'm reading my Bible. I'm praying. Every time I get hungry, I'm picking up reading scripture. If he's allowing me to watch YouTube, I'm looking at nothing. My whole fast is literally me and God. And that's what I'm doing. So I did the 3-day fast, and y'all, I survived. I was so proud of myself when I got to that 3rd day, and it was literally like the countdown where I could eat something. I was like, I did it. I went 3 days with no food, no water. And the funny thing was, I was like, I'm not going to be going to the bathroom. And I wasn't even really hungry because I was feeding myself with God. Like, you know what he said, a man can't live off of bread alone. So I'm like really feeding my hunger with the word and with prayer and with, with God, just worship, praise and worship. I was doing all of those things. And so I really wasn't hungry until that 3rd day, like a few hours before it was time for me to stop the fast. I was starving, but I was so proud of myself for being able to do it, because what you have to realize is when you're overweight and it's due to eating, that's called a food addiction, like period. It's an addiction, like a drug, like alcohol. It's an addiction. So if you can do something like 3 days and you know that you feel like you just gotta eat, that was a big accomplishment for me. So during that fast, things was just so clear. Like I said, who I needed to talk to, how I needed to do things. And me, like I said, he was calling me out about me, the way I needed to handle myself, the way that I needed to act. All of those things was just being exposed to me. And then I had to do a 2-week fast. Like, he just took me through all of these fasts. And here recently, the fasts that I was doing, it was really deep. One was another 3-day fast, but I only could eat fruits and vegetables. And it was certain hours, and I could have one meal between the hours of, I think it was like 6 and 12 or 12 a.m. That's when I could just eat my one meal, right? I couldn't eat no later than 12. I think that's what it was. I can't remember. But I did that one. And when I did that one, that was the very last one that I did. Baby, that one exposed that wasn't the very last one that I did. That one exposed so much about so much in my life. It was crazy. Even the books that he had me in Samuel 1, 1 Samuel, and I said Samuel 1, 1 Samuel and Isaiah, and it was certain scriptures from those books that he really wanted me to dive into, but he also wanted me to watch on YouTube the different both of those books, and it just showed me so much. Like, my life was completely aligning with it. It was insane. And even like he had me anoint my oil, because most people know that I do anoint oil and things like that, but I don't sell it. I just give it to who God tells me to give it to. He during this time, he also taught me how to make scented oils, like for house fragrances and stuff like that. Doing that, told me to start figuring out how to make candle. Like, he just started downloading so much to me. And every time I fast, it gets more and more intense. The very last fast that I did was last week or the week before, where it was a quiet fast. Nobody really needed to know, but I had to fast for my best friend and my goddaughter. I had to fast from them. And it was because I would just like come on, we need to pray. We need to do this. This is what's happening. How do you feel? What do you think? Is God telling you anything? Like, that's where I had God. And God was like, no, come seek me, seek my face. So I needed to fast from them because of that. And during that fast, like, that's when everything just ended up where it's at right now. Like, so much was open, but I had been praying and asking God, like, look, I'm tired. I'm tired of praying. I'm tired of interceding. Like, I am so exhausted, because I was just so exhausted. And when you're doing all this praying and interceding, and it's getting taken as you're trying to talk and tell people things, and they're taking it the wrong way, you just kind of get tired. And even with my situation, God had me sitting down where I was uncomfortable driving. It was just so many things that he was working on me with. He actually had me do a fast. I'm sorry, before these, another great one was when he had me fast, and he had me in Proverbs, the book of Proverbs. And then I started at Proverbs 27, read that. And then God said, keep going. I read 28. I read 29. And I didn't know anything about the Proverbs 31 woman, by the way. And then I got to 30, and he said, keep going. I got to 31, and he said, stay right there. So now I'm in the book of Proverbs 31, and I'm just reading it. And then he said, now I want you to type in Proverbs 31 woman in YouTube. So I type it in, and I'm just seeing all of this stuff about the Proverbs 31 woman. And now I'm going back in my head, because we're still trying to work this thing out. So in my head, I'm like, God, you have me reading this about a Proverbs 31 woman. What about him? And God said, it's not about him. And then he took me to Proverbs 21:2, heart posture. I don't care what nobody else is doing. How are you supposed to look? They don't have any control of you. They just have control of themselves. So you always must conduct yourself as a Proverbs 31 woman and keep your heart posture right. So through that, he was just teaching me so much stuff, because anybody who knows me, I will be off the chain. And I tell people all the time, like, if he run across you and he say, well, she was doing X, Y, yeah, I was. I'm no longer like that. Now I just speak boldly on facts or whatever. But as far as just like cussing, screaming, throwing stuff, like, well, I ain't never threw no stuff, but you know what I'm saying, like slamming doors and all that, that's definitely not me. But now I know when to be quiet, because I take it to God. Like, should I say something about this? Should I let this go? Should I reach out to this person? That's me now. Everything that I do is ordered to God. It's ordered the way God wants it to be ordered. I tell everybody God is the CEO of my life. I'm making no decisions without him. Like, I'm not wearing nails right now. It ain't that I'm not wearing them because I can't get them done. I definitely can. It's because God has me in this place. Even the way that I wear my hair, normally I would be, y'all know, I would have like my lace fronts, my half wigs. Like, I would be doing all of those things. And God just has me in this season where it's more like natural look. And I'm okay with that. I'm embracing it. It has not been me. Like, I'm used to I've been getting my nails done since I was 16, every 2 weeks, faithfully, until I got my new tech and I could go like every month or every 3 weeks. But faithfully since I was 16, and I'm about to be 47. So that's a long period of time. And now God just has me in this place where it's like natural, even from my toes, like doing my pedicure, but clear polish. Everything is natural right now. And that's me hearing God's voice, and even just how to conduct myself when I was in Proverbs 31, just how to be a mother, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a wife. Like, what do I need to look like? And I just recently did a video about that, a voiceover, where it's like Proverbs 31 woman could do everything. She wasn't just tied down to just looking cute and cooking. No, this woman could build things. She was an entrepreneur. She knew how to speak with people. People gravitated to her, right? People gravitate to her. She carried a lot of wisdom. And when God told me that, it's like, okay, I do carry a lot of wisdom. And that's why one of the main reasons that we were created, because of the wisdom that we can offer a man. But if you're with someone who's not willing to take in your wisdom, what's the point in you having the wisdom for that person? So I had to, I just started analyzing and looking at all of that in my relationship. Like, I have the wisdom, I have the knowledge. Because God just showed me so many things that I could do, like so many different things, like writing a book. I wrote a book. I got the book published. I got it on Amazon. Like, I did all of those things by myself. Like, I figured it out. And like, really with the book, it was literally me just sitting in my space and God talking to me and telling me what to do. I did it. And then God said, do this next. I did it. God said, and I was just doing everything that God was telling me to do. Same thing with the taxes. Wasn't interested in that. And God said, I need you to do this, take the class for taxes, this, that, and the other. So I did it. And then when God told me, okay, you took the class, but it's still not time, I knew to stop. And some people have a problem with that. Yes, it's about being obedient and doing it the way that God tells you to. He can give you that. He can give you that course, give you the lesson, give you that skill, but it's not time for you to utilize it yet. And that's what he did with me with the taxes. And I was excited. I was excited this tax season. Like, yeah, I'm going to be doing taxes, get this money, grind, right? And God said, no, I just needed you to get that skill. It's not time to utilize it, right? And that's what he's done with so many different things. I have a lot of skills now that I did not know I would be interested in, or that I would even have any, I would know how to do. So, and all of this is just from me fasting, sitting with God. Like, I literally have so many binders of different things that God has downloaded to me through this whole process. So I have learned a lot, not just about relationships, but a lot about Camila. Camila could be very feisty. Camila could, facial expressions was a beast. They were a beast. And I know now that's no longer me, because I don't get that anymore like I once did. Like, oh, your face. Like a lot of people would say that to me. I don't get it as much as I once did. So that lets me know that I have grown drastically. A lot of people say a lot of times now, which I love. They're like, even when you're upset, you're still like soft. You're still not yelling. And the old me, it would be yelling and screaming. They're like, you're just talking firmly, but you're not yelling. So I love the new person that I have became, because before I was definitely a yeller, a cusser. And I was down to say, don't bag me up in the corner and expect me not to fight my way out. Like that was just me. And now I'm more or less like, okay, you can bag me in the corner. I'll just kneel down and go up under you. Like that's me now. And I love this version of me. I love where I'm at in my life. I love that God is removing people. Is it hard? Oh yes, most definitely. It's hard when you think people are going to be there forever, and he shifts things. And what people have to realize, I know me through this whole thing, is everybody has free will. Everyone has free will. God can have something lined up for you in the way that he wants it to go, but he will allow you to utilize your free will as well. And you just have to respect that and accept that. And when God shifts it, it can be hard. It can be hard. You can allow yourself to feel those emotions that you're feeling, but when he removes, let it stay removed. Make sure you're taking it to God. Is this person removed or here for a season or for a lifetime? Like, what does this look like and why? Excuse me. So that's my part. And like I said, yes, I have, y'all don't even want to know half of the stuff that I have done in relationships. I have been a piece of work. And that's why I tell people all the time, I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I have broken things. I have done some things to people that I'm not proud of. I have really, and God had me protected the whole time and covered, because I'm gonna be honest, I should have, for some of the things that I did, definitely should be like, you should have been somewhere that you wouldn't want to be with a number, taking that picture. But God covered me. God covered me, or even just unalive, because I was making the wrong choices with the wrong people and wrong relationships, where it just got where people was either obsessed, or they just didn't want to let go, or because we were just being violent with each other and it wasn't healthy, right? So I have came a very, very, very long way from where I used to be. Am I perfect right now? No, because I have my moments where I will be like, God, I gotta say it. And look, me and you gonna have time together later about it, because I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say it this is how it's gonna be said. So I still have work to do, but I know that God is not expecting me to be perfect. I need to get as close to it as possible, but I do have my days where I just explode, and it's just like, you know what? It ain't as bad as it once was. But what I do love about this person that I am, now I'm not afraid to speak. At first, I would say I would be afraid to speak, but I would speak about the wrong things. Now I'm not afraid to speak about the right things. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to call you out on it. And it ain't no manipulating me to make me think that I'm wrong because I'm standing up. Because I have been told, oh, you say you're a woman of God, but you act in such and such way. And your voice is elevated. And I had to just remind this person that said that to me, remember Jesus flipped over tables when it came to his Father. Right? So this is tables being flipped over. Like, I'm not being aggressive. I'm not being any of those things, but I am being firm, and I'm letting you know exactly how I feel, and I'm unapologetic for it, because this is the way God is telling me to deliver it. He's trying to knock some sense into you like he did me, because when God was telling me certain things, it was really convicting me. Like when he said I was idolizing, and I'm like, oh, I'm not idolizing. I would see it all the time, like, yeah, it ain't right to idolize things and people and this, that, and the other. And then finally I got it. You talk, God, you calling me out on it, right? Nothing comes before you, right? Nothing comes before you. So this has been a journey. It has been a journey. That's part 3 of the story time, y'all. It's part 3 of the story time, and I'm gonna be giving y'all bits and pieces, like I said, because I don't want my videos really long. I don't want them over, I really don't want to go over 25, really don't want to go over 15 minutes, right? So I'm probably going to have to split this one up too. I don't know yet. We're going to see what God leads me to do. But remember to allow God to be the navigation of your life. He will not steer you wrong. I love you, but most importantly, He does. And it ain't nothing you can do about it but love Him right on back. And remember, even if you're in a struggle, remember God woke you up. You are here. You are here for a reason. Never let another human being psych you out for who you are and who God called you to be. Stand boldly in your faith. Stand boldly with God, regardless of what man can say, because men will try to manipulate you to think that God has no use for you or that you're not operating of Him. But keep going the way that you know God is telling you to, if you know that God is telling you to do it that way. I love you guys again.